guys, this is Kayla.
And this is Becky, and we're with A Couple of Bees Read, and
we also love wine.
And we're doing it different this time because mainly, I'll just be honest with you, we're going to be out of pocket for the next several weeks. And so we are doing multiple videos in one day.
Yes, and we ran out of wine. And also, we don't want to drink so much wine that we can't walk. So,
no, we definitely not do that.
This is actually the third book review we've filmed today. And we had these two bottles of wine that
we picked our favorite. And I chose the Legato Rosé. And you chose?
I chose the Nico Sauvignon Blanc.
Yes.
Which, if you watch the video where I talked about this, you know that Sauvignon Blanc is usually not my favorite. But this is so good. It's so floral. It has notes of pear, of lemon. It is just one of those jalapeno, which I can't taste, but
there's just something in there. It's got a little.
It makes it crisp.
Yes,
almost.
Yes, and then of course, this has got the pineapple and the strawberry and the pear and all of that and that floral scent. So,
and they're both such great wines for summer.
Yes.
I feel like in summer, because people are a little more guilty maybe of day drinking in summer, you need a nice white wine.
Yes.
Or rosé to, warm you up, but at the same time go with whatever fish you're eating or salad.
Because
those
both of these,
summer things.
Yes, both of these go very well with pork. Asian cuisine, your charcuterie boards, with your cheeses and everything. All of that is really great with these wines. So, and the link to them will be in the comments.
Yes.
And so be sure and pick up a bottle. And
speaking of summer,
I mean, how beautiful is this? The Paradise Problem. This was a fun read. And I thought it was very interesting. Christina Lauren is actually two people.
Oh, nice.
The authors are two people. It's Christina Lauren. It is Christina Hobbs and Lauren Billings. And they're friends and they write together. And I just don't know how that works. You mentioned earlier, maybe you and I'd write a book one day together. We'll see how that goes. So. I don't know, but I love the cover. I thought it was absolutely beautiful, and the premise behind the book was very interesting. You have this couple that it opens up with they've been living together. They're married. He's leaving, and she gets the couch and the TV, and you're like, what? And anyway, he's leaving and she's watching him. It's sort of like one of those old timey movies. And I watched him walk away. I really liked the view as he walked away, kind of thing. And anyway, so they go on for years and they don't see each other. And then all of a sudden he shows up at her door and she's like, it's like been the worst day of her life. This little punk who is running this convenience store where she's working, ask her out on a date. She's 20-something, he's 18, his mom and dad own the store, and she's like, no, I don't think that's a good idea. Well, then he comes in and fires her. Yeah, so, really bad day. Plus her dad has cancer, so she's working all these extra things so she can pay for his medicine and his, medical bills and all of these kind of things. And she's a painter. Well, when her and her husband lived together, and you wonder, why is she air quoting husband? Well, if you read the book, you'll figure out why. She was in med school, or she was in pre-med, I should say. Well, as time went on, she was like, no, that is not for me. She goes the route of the artist, and she actually is a very talented artist. But it is hard to break into the world of art. Very hard. And so you have all this going on. Come to find out, he is a Stanford professor. But now remember, they are husband and wife, but he's also the heir to the 6th largest grocery store chain in the country. His family is not just millionaires. Put a B in front of it. And she has no idea. She has no idea.
So how did this happen?
You have to read the book to find out how this happens. And so, anyway, he has. So there's this little part in here, where he has to be married to get inheritance and all this, and they have to go through this series of things. And as far as she knows, they're no longer married because she thought she signed divorce papers and stuff. And turns out he shows up and all this, and he's looking at her, and she's got pink hair now. She has pink hair, and he's looking at her going, oh my God, what have I got myself into? Can she pull this off? But what it is about her is she is very genuine. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
She has a great sense of humor. She's very smart, and, she is very creative, and she's just a good person. And she looks for the good in people. And, then he's, there's all this angst between them as they go along. And then with everything that happens, and there's a humongous wedding, there's all this wealth being thrown around everywhere. And, she's just like, oh my gosh, I'm just trying to pay my power bill. And I'm just trying to get my dad's medicines for him. And then all of this stuff, these people have no clue what the real world is like. And yet he begins to worry that this is going to change her. And she's not going to be this lovely, funny, genuine person that she is, and that it will change her in some way. But you have to read to find out, does it or does it not? And how does the story end up? Because when I say the crap hits the fan, it does, and it's just everywhere. Now, I will say there's only one issue I had with the whole book.
Oh, boy.
Only one. Because the storyline, everything, the characters, loved it, 5 stars for all of that. I don't like it when authors use the GD,
mm-hmm.
okay? And I just don't like that. And then, okay, I get the F word is used at times to kind of, make that point about something, but if you use it often, it loses the impact of what it's supposed to get out there. And I do feel that's the only issue I had with the book, is the use of GD and the F word used so much to the book. Because for me, as I read it, I was like, I'd be really getting into the scene or something, and then here's this word, and it's just thrown in there, and I'm like, why? It doesn't even fit this. And there was one thing toward the end of the book where they used GD, and I'm like, that sentence doesn't even make sense. I mean, I actually had to go back and read it 3 or 4 times, and it still didn't make any sense to me. I'm like, why do we have this word here? Well, it wasn't until I encountered it the second time that I understood how they were using it, and I didn't like that at all. It was referring to his manhood. That's what she was calling it. But it took me until the second go-ahead to figure out that's what they meant. So that was my only issue with the book. I mean, other than the storyline, everything was unique. I thought it was fun. I loved all of that. And if they'd just left the F word out some and the GD out totally, I think it would have been far better, but I didn't write the book. So, and I seldom ever say anything negative about anything, but that was the only issue I had with it, because overall, I mean, it's still a 5-star read because it was just a fun read. And I really, there's some characters in here, that you hate. Okay.
They have to be there.
They have to
You
be
need
there.
them.
And then there's some you really don't like, and then they kind of redeem themselves in the end. You know, you can see they're doing a turn about face kind of thing. So, you know, there's hope there. And then there's those characters that you just love. And, you know, the two main characters, you just love them. They're great. So I would say get it, read it, and, you know, maybe the language doesn't bother you. You know, if it doesn't, that's fine.
I will say this. I have a Canadian publisher, and the bad language I put in my books, like, I just got my notes back on that, and she was like, is this even a bad word? Because we, being from the Bible Belt, I think are a lot more affected by some of that language.
Right.
So if those words don't bother you, that shouldn't have any
effect whatsoever. So,
yeah.
But, and again, overall, like I said, it was a fun read, and I would recommend it, but I just would have to give that warning to you that if that is something that, you know, you don't want to hear or read, then don't read it, but because it is definitely in there quite often. So, yeah. But it's a beautiful book.
Such a beautiful cover.
I know. Definitely screams summertime. 100%.
Yes. That is something I would want to read on the beach.
Definitely. But all right, guys, tell us what you think.
Bye.